People come and look at this light. What's wrong with the light? But how is our picture? This one. Refuse to power out. Not there. Check elsewhere. Okay, I'm going on air now. Hey, no man. All right, count me down. From 10.
10, 9.
Go. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Start recording. It's a beautiful and lovely Tuesday evening, and you're right here tuned to the Never Dull Moment program, Ground Zero, the program where we pick up topical issues in the polity, and of course, with guests in house, and of course, those online, and of course, you, the listener. We try our very best to all be on the same page as we get to understand what is happening in our nation, Nigeria, and of course, how we can put everybody ahead when it comes to information about Nigeria. My name is Ehis Agbon, and the program comes up every working day of the week on Procyon Radio and Television, but of course on Tuesdays and Fridays from 5 to 6, we simulcast and uplink with Invicta FM. Invicta is on 98.9 on the FM band, and together we do this. And on the program today, we will be looking at the resurgence of insecurity, what President Bola Tinubu should do. Also, we have anti-corruption fight. We'll be x-raying corruption in the National Social Investment Program in Nigeria. These are the two major things we'll be looking at. And of course, my guest today on the program, we're expecting Danjuma Abbas Dangwa. He's a good governance advocate. He will join us any minute from now on the program. Mike Odeh Akatu is a journalist and a media analyst, is already with us here in the studio. And of course, we'll also be linking up with Dr. Peter Edeh. He's a lecturer at the Department of Philosophy, University of Abuja. And for those that want to be part of the program, those listening to us on Invicta FM and on Procyon Radio, you can also watch us on Facebook and on YouTube. On YouTube, the handle is at ProcyonRTV. At ProcyonRTV is the handle on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, Instagram, and of course, Thread. All right? And like always, we'll open up our phone lines at the right time. But meanwhile, you can drop your voice notes on 0809-799-1989. That's the portal where you can also drop your voice notes and messages, and we will definitely read them all out here on the program. Okay. Now, looking at in recent times, there has been a resurgence in insecurity in Nigeria, if we follow what's happening on ground, and of course, what we hear from the various news portals and channels. Apart from the fact that the Christmas Eve attacks in Borno, in Plateau State, Bokos specifically, has been something that's been on the international news scene, and people waking up to the realities that this is a recurring decimal when it comes to the Plateau. And sadly too, it seems to always recur around, seems to always happen around the June time. Yeah. And it has been a cause of concern. While some would tag or label it headers, farmers, crisis, but where are the heads when it happened? We can't put our fingers to any. Some will call it a tribal crisis, and some would also want to give it a religious undertone. But one thing we cannot take away from all of it is that there is a crisis happening, and the conflict is leading to loss of lives and property. And that cannot continue, because that is not the Nigeria of our dream looks like. We want a Nigeria where everybody can live in peace and unity, and everybody can go about their legitimate businesses, and a Nigeria where everybody can sleep with their two eyes closed, knowing that they'll wake up the next day happy and face the day's business. Apart from that, less than 48 hours ago, there was also another reoccurrence along the Abuja-Kaduna Expressway where we have a number of persons kidnapped by these persons that for a long time now we've not heard of any sort of kidnap along the Kaduna-Abuja Expressway. But with this that's resurging now, it is becoming a cause of concern. Is it that we are going back to the days when it is indeed a real burden and a problem for people to travel from Abuja to Kaduna? We pray we don't go back to those days. But what just happened now, something needs to be done. And that's the reason why our first snippet today is what should the president do so that we don't go back to the days when those roads were not safe. And for those that even want to fly between the airport and getting into Kaduna Metropolis was also something that people were not very comfortable getting into and doing. And of course, from the different houses and different portals, we had all of these issues. What should the president do is the first snippet. And the second snippet, of course, like you had earlier, is the corruption that is rearing its head in the National Social Investment Programs. Giving you a little background on this, the National Social Investment Program, in whatever tone or name one chooses to call it, one can say it dates back to the early years of the Buhari administration, when we had the trader money, when we had the what was the other money? They had several types and titles. Yes.
Market,
trader money, market money, and all of that, which also was immersed in so much of corruption because people could not get credible data as to who got what, when, where, and how much got to who. That was a big issue then. It got to the point that the vice president who was spearheading and in charge of it, at some point it was even used as a tool to shut him in, to even shut him up when he could not give proper account of how the monies were disbursed. So his political detractors used that as a tool to control him, I would say. After the trader money and market money jamboree, we now moved into the COVID-19 jamboree. Under the COVID-19 jamboree, the popular name palliatives reared its head, and on the lips of every Nigerian we had palliatives that were coming in different forms, shapes, and shades. That also was immersed in a whole lot of corruption, even up to the point that the NSAS protest also dovetailed into it, that resulted in the breaking into of different warehouses where these palliatives were kept
over a year.
Yes, for over a year. And as we are getting over that, we have now moved into the fuel subsidy removal. Is it palliative they are using now? What's the latest name they even use?
It's still cash transfer.
Yes, they are all cash transfer, but there's a generic name they are using.
I've forgotten the name. It just came up about.
But all said and done, the government making provision to cushion the impact of people slipping into poverty or falling below the poverty baseline. These are provisions made by the government, meant for the masses, unfortunately not for everybody. That's one area where many people are getting it wrong. Palliative is meant for the poorest of the poor. For someone that's comfortable, do you really need it? Of course, some people would say everybody needs it. But of course, everybody, we are not in a communist setup where the government will provide bread and tea for everybody. Well, the main thing there is that those that have been entrusted with managing these various social investment programs of the government have been enmeshed in various forms of corruption, right from Sadia Omar Farouk, the past minister of humanitarian affairs, even up to just last week we were talking about the National Social Investment Program Agency head in the person of Halima Shehu, and just yesterday, that of the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs also came to the fore, where the President had to suspend her so that proper investigation is carried out. Of course, various kind of flicks and side talk came up from different places where there were even rumors that she wasn't willing and ready to step down because initially she was asked to resign. She said, well, other persons are after her. All of these are conspiracy theories, of course, that other persons are after her, persons that even had cases in the United States of America that were given soft landing. People were assuming or insinuating that she was talking about the chief of staff and all of that. But of course, whatever it was is what it is. And today we are here and now. And now she has been asked to go on suspension so that proper investigations can be carried out. And that is where we are now. And thankfully, Danjuma Abbas Dangwa is just coming in. I want to sincerely appreciate him because the time that I called him, he was at the other end of town. Danjuma, just take your seats. No protocol about it. Danjuma, welcome to Ground Zero, and thank you so very much for coming in and also adding your voice to the conversation. Unfortunately, I still haven't been able to get across to Dr. Peter Edeh in Abuja. He is from the lecturer of he's a lecturer at the Department of Philosophy. Well, the show will go on as soon as we can link up with him. Of course, we will link up with him. Now, I'll start off with
security issues.
The security issues, and we'll kick off with Mike Odeh Akatu. The resurgence of insecurity. What should Tinubu do?
Well, yeah, a lot has been said about what Tinubu should do, and probably he's doing, and we are not seeing it. That means he needs to rejig. But first of all, I know that the total armed forces, minus the police, the total strength of the Nigerian armed forces is not a long time.